I'm Red Beard the Hippy here with Rotten Aura out of Wichita, Kansas. Just so in case people don't know, what kind of style of music do you guys do?
Thrash death metal? But metal. Thrashy death metal, I guess.
Extreme metal. Yeah, I'd say our style's extreme.
So, let's see. And obviously, people are going to see all the nerdy shit behind you. The Batman collection, the Joker collection. Interesting band room, because we got guitars right next to you. How do you guys practice in here and not have shit fall off the wall?
Well, it's all through headphones normally. Like, this setup's been a digital setup for the most part. So everything goes through the interface. And we use the program, like, guitar plugins, and he has there's a couple different drum plugins that we've used over the years, and it makes it so it's not loud. But yeah, it's some things have fallen when they bump into this, or
I just knocked the clock off.
He just knocked the Joker clock off the wall.
Which we did not have. He did not get caught in his dreadlocks.
This is more of our centralized writing area at this point.
Yeah, we actually do our live sessions with the amps and everything down at Tour Box, downtown Wichita, which is a cool little spot to practice at.
Yeah, it's kind of rent to play, and gives us opportunity to fine tune our equipment for the live experience.
Then you don't piss off the old lady or the kids.
Yeah, could you imagine drums in here? Yeah, it'd kill. Yeah.
I don't even think we could fit my drums.
We could fit your drum set in here, but not us.
Yeah.
Your drum set can be in here, but you ain't getting into the drums.
Just jump over the set.
All right.
Pull a Kurt Cobain and just jump right into it.
Yeah.
The fun references. Yeah, and with spending the last hour or so here, let's see, what other things. You got an upcoming show on the
March 23rd at Barleycorns, playing with Amolador, Soprogynous, Pussy Destruction,
Dark Rites,
and Dark Apostle.
Dark Apostle.
Dark Apostle. Yeah.
Oh, that's what the name is on there.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out that name
on the flyer over there.
But we have, that'll be our believe it or not, our debut show, March 23rd, coming out, rocking with those guys. Very excited to be playing.
Well, because I know Soprogynous is just brutal as hell.
Yeah.
So, obviously, kind of having certain similar styles of music on certain shows is probably a key thing.
For sure.
If this show was a burger, it would be like a 5-alarm Baconator. It was spicy, and it might not feel good coming out later.
Your ears are going to hurt after this.
Yeah, you may walk away going, "What the fuck was that?"
My ears
are limp now.
My ears are bleeding. I didn't even get into the pit. What the hell?
But it's looking to be a fun show. We're beyond excited. To be honest, the band's been a 3-year push, and just finding the right members and writing the material and just getting it down, and it's been a complete it's slightly frustrating because 3 years is a long time, but we're beyond excited to finally grace the stage and just share it with everyone else.
Yeah. But there's also the thing, too, of making sure you have the right members and the right sound, because if you try to rush stuff, it can fall apart on stage.
Most definitely, and that's definitely been something we've focused on, trying to anyway, just to make sure we fine-tune the songs and have the right members. Everyone currently in the band has come in very fluidly, and it just fit like a perfect piece of a puzzle. It's really it's been weird. All members have just been a really good fit, and everyone contributes. They pull their own weight, and they all participate in some way, shape, or form. There's never been someone who doesn't want to help or just refuses to. We're always writing and working, and it's a great process for us. At least with the group so far.
There's no band drama. There's no because I've been in bands before.
And there's no forcing anything.
Yeah, there's no forcing anything. We vote on everything. We discuss everything really in detail. And hey, this part I wrote, how do you feel about that? And you're like, what are you talking about? That's sick, man. Keep it going.
Or lyrical content, making sure that...
Oh, yeah.
First time I've been in a band that, we all talk about the lyrics. We do our best to...
We get our pen and pad out.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, this is what I got. The fluid is pure blood. Okay.
You know, like I've always been used to a vocalist who'll write their
example.
vocals and they stick to that, and everybody does their thing. And our vocalist will write his vocals, but he also will accept ideas from us, which makes writing awesome.
Well, and it also adds another level because, like, from a vocalist standpoint, I may not have thought of something, but you're like, hey, if we do it this way, or if you break it up, da-da, and it fits better, and it's like, okay, let's try that really quick. Oh, yeah, that really works because it does add for another level of, like you said, being fluid with the band, where, because then it'll make stage presence better, it'll make other things a little more...
Well, we think about execution. Like, can we execute this live?
Yeah.
It's kind of been a rule. If we can't do it live, we try not to do it.
Maybe knock that BPM down here. You know.
We try to stick to that. But definitely, we're not trying to add more, especially when people see us and they hear our music. They'll see that we're trying to give the truest us we can. Not trying to add more than we need to. Not trying to make it bigger than it needs to be. We're just... the tracks we're currently working on are definitely raw, but you know, in terms of how they are material wise and sound wise, they sound like, I'd like to think, like a raw, you know, when you expect from any beginning band when they give you their
they have that energy,
the energy, the vibe, you know, like. Yeah. For me, listening to a lot of bands' first albums or first demos, it just hits you in the right spot, you know, or you're just riding that gooch maybe, you know, or what you're looking for. And I'd like to think that we're going to bring that for sure, live and on, you know, recordings.
Like, obviously with, there's been bands where, like, you'll listen to their first album versus their, like, fifth album, and it loses that raw feel or that touch.
More produced.
Sometimes, I'd like to think that comes to growth in the production, but, you know, the rawness can get lost for sure. How many bands, you know, that we all love and enjoy, and you listen to their newest album, you're like, what happened? Or even from first to second album. Usually first, second album can be similar, but sometimes first, second album can be day and night, and you're like, whoa, what happened here?
Yeah.
Well, but there's also, like that, like you were saying, there's where it's more polished, where they don't have those... experiences anymore, where it doesn't have that raw feel, where it's like, okay, we gotta write it this way, or we have to do it this way.
I always liken it to, like, some music can sound robotic.
Yeah.
Like, they release a new album and you're like, it's cool, it sounds good, but something's not natural about it. It's like the whole album is just like...
Or some of those bands where, like, AC/DC's always one that people bring up, where, like, it has that same style...
Yeah. Iron Maiden... They're notorious for that too, but both bands make great music either way.
Well, yeah,
but it's still you hear those changes for sure, and the growth is there. I think that's something people forget about sometimes, is the growth.
Well, growth is an important thing, but also still having that certain energy, I think, is also, because, like, okay, if I'm paying $5 million for production on this, I want it to sound fucking amazing.
Absolutely.
But I also want somebody to listen to it and go, dude, there's that energy, they got it. Mm-hmm. They still, like, Pantera's a prime example. Like, their live energy versus that, like, same feel on the albums, it's still there.
Yeah.
And that's important to capture, for sure. And to keep and to maintain.
There's parts at practice where, like, I'm gonna fucking headbang because I know this part's coming and I'm feeling it, you know. And I hope that when we play it live, the crowd's like, oh shit, this is fucking awesome, you know.
Groovy thrash death metal, because everything we write is definitely groovy.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, it's definitely more groovy. Definitely groove is there for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like
you know where it's coming versus some of the thrash metal's notorious where they'll do tempo changes and time changes and, like, complete signature changes. So you're sitting there nodding your head, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now I got to have a seizure to match this. And
there are those moments for sure in some of the songs where you're gonna have consistent headbanging. But the whole goal with I'd like to think is just to get the crowd moving. Like, that's what I enjoy.
Getting bored.
Yeah, I don't want someone standing there going, man, these guys are boring. I want...
Like, when's the next band coming?
Yeah, I want to know when they see us, they get what they paid for, so to speak. Or they come afterward and go, yeah, that was awesome, because anyone in a band, that's the best feeling.
Putting on your best show and your best performance that you possibly can.
Yeah,
of course.
Because we all know that people get sick, or like the older you get, the more bodily injuries or pain that you.
Or they have a job that we all have to have jobs, so sometimes our jobs take a little more out of us.
Yeah.
And it's not like doing the music thing's the only job where you're like, okay, back on stage. Mm-hmm. I had my rest. I stretched. I'm gonna get up there and demolish tonight, and then go back onto the bus. And
if anything, the music is the relief from the normal.
It's the labor of love.
Yeah, most definitely.
If we don't feel like we've had practices, we might cut short just because we're like, well, we're maybe not feeling it, and let's not force it.
Mm-hmm.
We do our best to keep, everyone. How do I say it? Everyone, is happy with what we're doing. Yeah. And we try to keep that in the practice too. We don't force anything for sure, which I think helps a lot. Like he said, it helps a lot with how we are as a band, not forcing things on. We will play our tracks over and over. That's part of practice. We have
well, that's a necessity. Forcing like, okay, we gotta run through the set one more time, or we gotta
absolutely.
We weren't as tight as we know we can be, so we gotta work on this.
Especially with shows coming up, like we want to make sure we don't let anyone down that's coming to see us.
Yeah,
we want it all automatic for sure. That way, when we are up there, we can focus on the crowd and
our movements, our head banging, because it's just we want to have fun with them too. So
the choreography of metal, I guess you could call it that.
No, it makes sense because there's certain parts where it's getting ready to hit.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier.
And everybody gets down, and you're like, "Ooh, it's gonna go now."
Yeah.
You hear that? Jump, motherfucker! And everybody goes, and the bands are doing it. And
I always liken it to like you're at a hardcore show and you hear that ting.
Everybody waits.
Oh, fuck, here it goes.
We don't necessarily have parts like that because we're not hardcore, but
But like we all
have
know
one
those
breakdown. There is that one breakdown.
Oh yeah.
But there's those moments in a song where just like, ooh, it's coming. I heard the signal, and being like a photographer, like I listen for those. So that's when it's like, okay, get the camera out because I know it. The pictures are going to be coming right now because this is where everybody's going to go ballistic, and hopefully I get one of the 800 pictures I take at that moment.
It'd be, it's nice to have mosh pits. But
of course,
necessity in metal.
A lot of the metalheads I know now are a little old, and we can't handle the mosh pits.
I'm not gonna hold
doses.
I'm not holding it on anyone if they don't want to mosh.
It definitely depends on the band, but I try to involve myself as much as I can.
Which does make sense. I know mosh pits take a toll on me anymore.
I get
bumped now, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go sit down. Oh,
definitely
back shifted.
Tylenol the next day for sure.
We went to Lorna Shore.
Oh man, we went hard for Lorna Shore.
He got pissed at me because I kept.
He kept picking up everyone.
Everyone.
Doesn't matter what size they were.
I was feeling lit, and I was like, let's pick people up, and I kept.
The Lorna Shore was a great show. We went.
Great energy.
They played Temple Live here in Wichita, and that was a amazing show.
That's probably the craziest I've gotten at a concert in a long time. Like crowd wise, not drinking wise. I don't remember half of one concert I went to a while back.
I've had a few of those. It happens.
Jägermeister love song.
All you gotta do is say Jägermeister in there, and everybody's like, okay, yeah, we know those nights. But like, I was at this bar, and then suddenly I'm in a field.
Yeah, the Jaeger wasn't the problem. It was everything else after that.
And it's like, I don't know where my shoe is, and where is my car? You're missing a shoe? I don't know what it is.
Well, what'd you say? You hugged everyone.
Man. What show was that? That was a Skeleton.
Angel Maker.
Just recently.
I remember half that show.
I remember Parthian, Parallax. Who else was at that show? I'm trying
Reflections.
And then this guy didn't make it to the last band. we went to the set. He got one song in the last band, and he could barely stand. And I'm like, you want to go? And he's like, the most desperate yes. I think.
And we've all been there, you know.
He barely made it home.
Most of us
It was-
anyway.
Guilty as charged.
Partied a little too hard.
It was still a good show though. Watching Parallax was
It was
great.
phenomenal.
One of
I'm
the
glad
best.
to see Parallax.
I was
is
more
back. They're one
psyched
of my
for the
favorite
local
bands in
people.
town.
They're
you know.
awesome.
I like going to bands and like I know you see on Facebook and social media like the memes of it's never a competition, but like going and watching bands, everybody wants to see everybody succeed, but you also want to see like if you're the opener. I know when like I was in a band and we'd open, we always wanted to put on the best possible show because then it also brings that energy where the next band's like,
Yeah.
dude, they did that. All right, we got to go match that or do better. And it's not like it's a competition, but you're just like, okay.
It's not a competition, but feeding off that energy, it helps keep the show alive. I've only been recently went to one show where the headliner kind of killed the show. It was
Well, we won't put the name on that one.
no, but it was here recently. And
Was
both,
it at the Cotillion?
Yeah, we were at the
Okay,
Cotillion.
I know what show.
But
he's
there were
talking
two.
about. We're
There
not
were
gonna-
two. That's
They
a
were-
bigger headliner. I
they're
really
very
wanted to see these
famous
guys. I was
band.
very disappointed because I love their music. But the openers were amazing. Absolutely a blast to watch. And then the other band came on, and they talked too much, and their set was just boring. I was like, what? These guys are so good. Why is their set so boring? It was kind of sad. They did not feed off the energy from the other bands for sure.
I have seen shows where it's like that, where like every band just builds the next one up, and then you get to the headliner, and it's like, okay, you're the headliner, that you're supposed to be the top dog, and
Yeah.
they weren't so much the top dog on that set. They were like, where you're like, they should have opened, and this band should have been headliner.
Yeah, I mean, I get why they headlined it because they definitely were they deserve to it. But at the same time, when you see a band, like, especially when you look forward to see someone, you're like, I love these guys. Fuck yes, I get to see them. And they let you down, and you're like, oh.
I've seen a lot of bands headline where like the whole band is good, but then like the vocalist gets winded as fuck.
Well,
And
you
can't
also
keep
got to
up
look
with
at
it.
how many cigarettes the vocalist has smoked.
Yeah.
But I also think too, like you said, where when you're writing music, you write it in a capacity of what you know you're capable of doing,
Yeah.
and you run through the practices where you're like, okay, this one cannot be the last song. We are way too dead and too tired. We need to move this one up in the set list. Or, okay, this is a slower one. We can put this one next to the end, and it'll give us a little bit of time to recoup, and then we can go into this song.
Yeah.
No, yeah, set list, having a good set list set up the right way, the song, it definitely helps too. I played my old band, I played a set where we had the wrong song in the wrong spot, and it killed the set, and it was really hard to bring everyone back into it and the vibe.
Yeah.
So I definitely learned from that experience.
And keep like the flow of energy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't want to see the crowd die in the middle of my set, much less the middle of the concert or the show. So, yeah, it's important to keep a good, solid, energetic, just vibe going the whole time.
And it's good to end with a really strong song too.
Yeah.
You know, that last impression of like,
Well, like the first song,
that last song.
you have to like the first song has to be that attention grabber where people
Yes.
are like, ooh, and that last song has to be like, okay, here's the kick in the ass as we go out the door.
Yeah.
It's like a sandwich. That's kind of how I look at it.
I'm hoping our set
Buttered
accomplishes
bread
that.
with garlic, you know. It's tasty on both ends.
And there's good filler in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
little mozzarella, pepperoni.
Some Jack in the Box tacos
I'm
at 2 in the morning.
Hey,
Yes, we threw that one
don't
in.
knock it till you try it, okay?
With drowned it in ranch. He
Yeah,
said.
just dip, not drown.
Oh,
Hey,
okay, dip it in ranch.
Well, with ranch.
Yeah, either way.
don't knock it till you try it.
I love
Sounds
ranch,
awful.
but you know, I eat ranch on anything.
Except for pussy.
Oh, well, you know.
He's like, I'm trying that now. Every person that's going to watch this is now going to be like, "Dude, I haven't tried that yet."
Honey, we're trying something new tonight.
Fuck you!
I saw a post the other day. It was like, you put pineapple on it. And you were talking about ass stuff.
We just put pineapple in there real quick. Whoop.
Put a little dollop in there.
Okay, save that for later.
What a great way to end an interview.
And we're out. You stay classy, San Diego.
Well, I appreciate your guys' time. That's just fucking hilarious right there.
Yeah.
We'll see if anybody comments on this to see if they watched all the way to the end.
Stay tuned.
Pineapple in the Butthole. That's a new one.
And Ranch on the Pussy.
Right? We got new song titles coming soon.
How
Hold
old
on
are
for
your
it. Wait for
viewers?
that.
Their parents should know better.
Okay.